yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy, your man's in them, your uncle, Hostile Takeover. This one is gonna piss a lot of people off if they see it anyway. Especially if you're a boomer. You about to be mad as fuck. I don't care though. This is gonna be a long one, possibly a two-parter, so let's not waste no time. Oh yeah, but hit your boy with a like, a comment, and subscribe. This is about to get deep as fuck up in here. Why do we have red pill? In response to feminism. But why do we have feminism? It's not in response to anything we did, as in Generation X and millennials. It was our bitch ass daddies and granddaddies. Now when I say that, I'm not talking about anybody's granddaddy or daddy or even great granddaddy in specifically, or I'm talking in general, the whole generation. So let's go way the fuck back to the Great Depression, the so-called greatest generation. All right, so back during the Great Depression, if a man could not provide for his family that he already had, he would leave the house, the city, sometimes even the state, and go look for work. A lot of times they couldn't find it there either. And it would take a long time for a motherfucker to get his money up. Alright? That shit happens. It was a fucking depression. It was the greatest economic downturn in our history so far. Shit gets desperate, you do desperate shit. But when they found work, got stability, got some money, they didn't send for their families, they didn't come back. They started a whole new family if they could. One, because they weren't wanted back at their old house. Two, there wasn't gonna be any respect there because this motherfucker ain't sent no goddamn money home all this time. Alright. Now that's the so-called greatest generation. In response to that, FDR created welfare. Women got on that shit because their husbands were gone. Everybody thinks it's like some 70s and 80s shit, I don't need a man. No, it was back then. So that would be my great grandparents, who had my grandparents. The silent generation, not the lost generation, I'm sorry. The silent generation. There's a reason they called them the silent generation. Because that generation stayed the fuck silent when disrespected. You had the Jim Crow laws, all that shit. It wasn't until the end of that generation that civil rights started. The younger members of that generation were the leaders and the fighters in the civil rights movement, right? But they were also silent because there were a lot of times they didn't do shit. They stayed silent and tried to stay dignified and keep up appearances. All right? But a lot of those men did the exact same shit their dads did. They didn't see nothing wrong with it because it happened to them. All right? So these were the kids that were born either during or right before the Depression. They had baby boomers. Baby boomers, easily the softest generation this country's ever fucking produced. My parents are baby boomers. They got complacent after the civil rights movement. They got their government jobs. They got their house in a suburb next to white people and said, fuck it, we don't need to do no more. That's part of the reason we're as fucked as we are today. My generation, Generation X, is the I don't give a fuck what you think generation. We're the fuck around and find out generation. We're the fuck y'all generation because no one gave a fuck about us. We were latchkey kids. We had our own keys to the house at 6 fucking years old. We were the generation that didn't have babysitters. We had go home, lock the door, do your homework, and don't let nobody in. That was us. We were the forgotten generation. Not the silent, not the lost. We got forgotten. Then came millennials. Millennials are the product of our attitude. They really are. They're quick-witted. They're sarcastic. They don't give a fuck about making you cry. None of that shit. It's a goddamn gorgeous thing to watch. Then, of course, you got Generation Z, the technologically advanced generation, who is going to take all this shit to the next fucking level. All right? And arguably the most promising generation in generations. So, when women were fighting for actual equal rights during first wave feminism, right? Men were the ones who resisted, of course. Mostly white men, because black men couldn't even fucking vote yet. So, here the fuck we go with this fuck shit, right? White men didn't want women to vote, this, that, and the third, didn't want to give them their rights, all that shit. So they fought for it. Then there came an overcorrection with second and third wave feminism. And that's what they're fighting for, is that overcorrection. And red pill is the response to that shit. But if the greatest generation and the silent generation did all this fucked up shit to their kids, how did baby boomers not correct it? Because they're fucking lazy. They want to talk about, other generations behind them not being shit, this, that, and the third. They are easily the laziest and most coddled generation ever. This is a generation where on one fucking income, you can support a family of a wife and a couple of kids and buy a fucking house. With two incomes now, you can barely rent a fucking apartment. These are the motherfuckers that went to college for free or for the absolute low, mad that these generations aren't going to college at the same rate, or that we're complaining about the fucking price. All right? And here's a prime example of the lost generation. Right? They would cover up family fuck-ups, family mistakes to the public, and literally, this is where you got that soap opera bullshit where the teen daughter gets pregnant and the mom says, the mom tells, everybody in town, she'll disappear for a minute, come back with a baby and tell everybody in town that excuse me, got the hiccups a little bit, that she had a baby, and the baby would grow up thinking that her mom was her sister, right? That was that generation. My dad is a product of that generation. I don't know what happened, because me and that side of the family don't speak. My dad was actually raised by his uncle. And nobody told me. I didn't find out till I was 40 that the man who I called my grandfather was actually my great uncle. And I found that out just digging on my own. Nobody told me that shit. That's the generation that swept shit under the fucking rug. So that wasn't uncommon. Shit like that wasn't uncommon. So since they were raised by that generation, they didn't see shit wrong with walking out and leaving their families and shit like that, not speaking to their fucking kids. I've said it before. I was lucky if I saw my dad twice a year, and that motherfucker lived 5 minutes away sometimes. He never lived more than half an hour away till I was 26 or 27. And by that time, I didn't want to see him. So, how did we get here, though? With women literally fighting for equal rights, then the next generation of women wanting more than equal and overcorrecting. And that's where we're getting a red pill pushback. But why we wouldn't need red pill if it wasn't for the bitch ass motherfuckers that came before us, the ones who didn't take care of their families, the one who walked out on their wives and kids, right? That's where the historical niggas ain't shit came from. Generation X and millennials are the black men of Generation X and millennials are the most involved fathers in their kids' lives since before the Depression. But we have to put up with their bullshit, talking about niggas ain't shit and they walk out on their families. No, the fuck we don't. We co-parent like a motherfucker. We co-parent like a motherfucker. But what we're not gonna do is wife up 304s, thoughts, and sluts. We'll smash y'all, we'll fuck. Don't get it twisted. And if the condom break, okay. It's not the kid's fault, so we're not gonna penalize the kid. But we're not gonna wife you the fuck up. Why? Because the 304s is for everybody. They ain't for the streets, they ain't for the freeway, they ain't for the earth. They're for everybody. But the baby boomers are the most culpable for this shit. And I'm gonna harp on these motherfuckers for a minute. All right? So, the baby boomers, especially black ones, all wanted to be players, pimps, multiple women, all that. That's why you hear all these old men talking like pimps, dressing like pimps, with the brims and the loud ass fucking suits. Think Steve Harvey with a goddamn fedora, right? You know who was buying up all them loud ass fucking Stacey Adams suits? Old ass men, telling us to dress like them. Fuck that. They're talking about respectability and shit. No, that's just their style because they grew up idolizing pimps and players. But also, they are the biggest simps ever. That's why you got these old ass men like Steve Harvey and whoever the fuck else talking about what a woman got to bring to the table besides the ability to make another you. Shit. It's 2023, bitch. A lot. A fucking lot. And then on top of that, they're mama's boys. That's why they feel the need to take care of women, because they daddy didn't take care of their mama. And they feel some type of fucking way. And then sit there and give us badass advice that'll ruin our finances and have us completely fucked up. See, shit was cheap for them niggas. That's why they could afford a wife and a side chick and a couple of side chicks and an outside baby and all this other old stupid shit. Life was cheap. The one generation before my generation, right? And I'm not even a fucking senior citizen. So one generation before my generation, the down payment that they had to put on a house won't even buy a car right now. Won't even buy a car. When my parents bought the house that I grew up in for $25,000 or $30,000 in California, let's say it was 30. They had to put 20% down. They had to put $6,000 fucking dollars down. That's a good down payment on a car. It ain't gonna get you nowhere near a fucking house. It ain't gonna get you nowhere near a fucking house. And these niggas say we're soft? Man, fuck y'all. Y'all fucked up everything. Y'all got complacent and let the world devolve into what the fuck it is now. We sit here and talk about 304 culture, hookup culture, sluts, all this other shit. Who the fuck do you think were the original sluts talking about free love and all this shit? Them. They were the ones doing all that premarital fucking. We're the ones trying to correct their fuck up. And women are mad at us for it. I said what the fuck I said. The baby boomers were the original fucking 304 sluts and thoughts. Around there, all in the 60s, fucking random niggas with no condoms and shit. That's where we got probably over half of the origination of the STDs that are circulating around right now. Fuck the baby boomers. As a whole generation. Yeah, there are some good people individually in that fucking generation. But let's not romanticize shit. Baby boomers were the ones telling the women of my generation, you don't need no fucking man. They around here having kids out of wedlock with laid up in their parents' house with their young ass mama watching their kids cause their mama was a grandmother at fucking 40, watching the kids while they go to fucking school. Then talk about, I got my degree, I don't need you. Shit, we don't need y'all. You already got kids. You already got 3 kids. We don't fucking need you. We trying to have our own over here. But the baby boomer women started that shit. Then the Gen X women, who they taught it to, right? The Gen X women who they taught it to are sitting there saying the same shit to millennial and Gen Z women for different reasons though. They're telling you that shit because they up in there lonely, and the younger women are their real competition. They don't want to see you with no nigga, with no man, because they ain't got one. They want one, but they ain't got one. But they're looking for them Steve Harvey simp niggas that'll put up with they bullshit. Them niggas is dead. And if they ain't dead, they dying or don't give a fuck no more. So now they trying to fuck on younger niggas. But younger niggas is like, nah, I'm good. So they over there mad. The chicks in my generation over here mad because they lonely. Couldn't hold on to the nigga that got them pregnant. Couldn't hang on to the motherfucker that married her, even though she had a kid. And now looking for her 4th and 5th chance at love. No, you don't get that. So the younger women, hopefully, are getting a message that shit is not cool, and you will end up just like them if you follow that model. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make this a 2-parter. I'm gonna end this one here, and then keep going at a maybe tomorrow, day after. But let's end it here. And bro, it gets deep as fuck. All right. So as always, hit your boy with a like and a subscribe. Holla at me in the fucking comments. Let's discuss this shit. Tell me where you think I'm wrong, or tell me what you agree with. And we'll get into this, man. And as usual, well, not even usual, as always, middle fingers up, put two fingers in the ass, spread them apart, say peace.